The receptionist looked at me, then at her computer screen, and suddenly her smile disappeared. She checks in with him every week. I froze. With who? The woman behind the hotel desk hesitated. The same man. They usually arrive together. My fingers tightened around the flowers I was holding. That's impossible, I whispered. My mother is here for a business trip. The receptionist looked uncomfortable. I'm sorry. I thought you knew. Those words hit harder than anything else. I had driven almost 3 hours just to surprise my mother. It was supposed to be her birthday weekend. She had told me she was traveling for work, staying at this hotel for a few days, and attending meetings with important clients. So I had taken the day off. I bought her favorite flowers. I even brought a small gift. I imagined knocking on her hotel door and watching her face light up. Instead, I was standing in the lobby, wondering if my own mother had been lying to me. For months, something had felt different. She had started taking mysterious weekend trips. She stopped answering calls at night. She suddenly became protective of her phone. Whenever I asked where she had been, she always gave the same answer. Work. I had believed her. Because she was my mother. Can I ask you something? I said to the receptionist. She nodded. Is she checking in tonight? The receptionist looked at the screen. Yes. My heart dropped. I immediately called my mother. She answered after several rings. Hey, sweetheart. Mom, where are you? At the conference hotel. I looked around the lobby. I was standing inside the exact hotel she claimed she wasn't staying at. I swallowed. Are you alone? There was a pause. Then she answered. Yes. That single word changed everything. She was lying. I ended the call without telling her where I was. I could have confronted her immediately. But something inside me said not to. So I sat in the hotel lounge and waited. Nearly an hour passed. Then the elevator doors opened. My mother stepped out. And beside her was a man. I recognized him instantly. Daniel. Her boss. They were laughing. My mother was holding his arm. Then she looked up. Her eyes met mine. The smile vanished from her face. The flower slipped slightly in my hand. For several seconds, nobody moved. Finally, my mother whispered. What are you doing here? I looked at her. I came to surprise you. Daniel suddenly stopped smiling. And I realized. I wasn't the only one who had been keeping secrets. Because my mother's face told me one thing immediately, she was terrified of what I had just discovered. My mother pulled me into a quiet corner of the hotel lobby. Please don't make a scene, she whispered. I stared at her. A scene? I can explain. Then explain. She looked toward Daniel. He stood several feet away, pretending not to listen. I pointed at him. Why are you here with him? My mother closed her eyes. Then she finally said the words that shattered everything. We've been seeing each other. I couldn't speak. How long? She hesitated. Almost a year. A year. For 12 months, she had been telling me she was traveling for work. For 12 months, she had been hiding Daniel from me. I wasn't angry because she had fallen in love. I was angry because she had lied. Why didn't you tell me? Because I knew you wouldn't understand. You never even gave me the chance. She started crying. Daniel stepped forward. Your mother hasn't done anything wrong. I looked at him. You're right. She hasn't done anything wrong by being with someone. Then I pointed toward my mother. But she lied to me. I walked away. That night, I drove home with the flowers still sitting beside me. I didn't sleep. Something about the entire situation bothered me. The next morning, my mother sent me a message. Please don't tell Aunt Sarah yet. That made me suspicious. So I called my aunt. Did Mom tell you she's on a business trip? My aunt laughed. No. She told me she took some vacation days. I went silent. Vacation? Why would my mother tell her sister she was on vacation while telling me she was working? Then I remembered something. My mother had been talking about a business investment for months. Daniel had apparently convinced her to put money into a new company. I asked her about it. She immediately became defensive. You don't need to worry about my finances. Mom, how much did you invest? She refused to answer. That night, I found a folder in her home office. Inside were contracts, bank statements, and business documents. I read through them carefully. Then I saw the amount. My mother had invested almost all of her retirement savings. I felt sick. But the worst part wasn't the amount. It was the company receiving the money. The company had barely existed for a few months. Daniel wasn't even the official owner. I started searching through the documents. Then I found several names. Other investors. I contacted one. Then another. And their stories were almost identical. Daniel had promised them huge returns. They had trusted him. And then their money disappeared. My heart started racing. This wasn't just a secret relationship. My mother might be getting trapped in something much bigger. And when I confronted her, she said the one thing I feared most. I trust him. But I knew something she didn't. Daniel wasn't building a future with my mother. He was building something around her money. I wanted to expose Daniel immediately. But I knew that if I confronted him without proof, he would simply deny everything. So I did something my mother never expected. I stayed quiet. I contacted the other investors. I collected their messages. Their contracts. Their payment records. Their emails. Everything. Then I took the documents to a lawyer. The lawyer studied them carefully. This doesn't look like a normal investment, he said. Can he take her money? If she sends more, there's a serious risk. That was enough. I called my mother. Mom, please don't transfer another dollar. She was angry. You're trying to destroy my relationship. No. I'm trying to protect you. You don't understand Daniel. I understand what the documents say. She hung up. The next day, Daniel called her. He told her the company was facing a temporary problem. He needed another large transfer. My mother refused. For the first time, she said no. Daniel's reaction was immediate. He became angry. He told her she didn't trust him. He said the entire business would collapse because of her. Then he sent her a message. If you really loved me, you would believe in me. My mother stared at that message for a long time. Then she called me. Her voice was shaking. I think you were right. I didn't celebrate. I simply said, let's find out the truth. We reviewed everything again. Then we discovered something even worse. The company Daniel claimed was worth millions was barely operating. Money from investors was being moved through different accounts. Some of those accounts were connected to people Daniel had worked with before. We reported everything. But we didn't confront him yet. We waited. And then Daniel made his biggest mistake. He invited my mother to his office. He thought she was coming to transfer the money. Instead, she walked in carrying the documents. I was beside her. And an attorney was sitting at the table. Daniel's face changed instantly. What is this? My mother looked directly at him. No more lies. Daniel tried to laugh. You're misunderstanding the situation. The lawyer pushed a folder toward him. We've reviewed the transactions. Daniel stopped smiling. My mother looked at him with tears in her eyes. You told me you loved me. He remained silent. You told me we were building a future. Nothing. Then she asked the question that finally broke him. Was any of it real? Daniel looked away. And in that moment, my mother finally understood. She hadn't been his partner. She had been his target. But the documents on that table were only the beginning. Because there was another name hidden inside the financial records, and it belonged to someone we never suspected. The second name belonged to someone inside Daniel's company. Someone who had been helping him find vulnerable investors. People with savings. People who trusted easily. People who were desperate to believe in a better future. My mother finally understood why Daniel had chosen her. It wasn't love. It was opportunity. That realization broke her heart. But it also made her stronger. We gave every document to the proper authorities. The investigation moved quickly. Because we had acted before my mother transferred more money, a large portion of her savings was protected. Daniel's carefully planned business began falling apart. The people he had convinced to trust him started coming forward. One by one. His lies were exposed. But my mother didn't celebrate. She simply walked away. She ended the relationship. She changed jobs. She rebuilt her finances. And most importantly, she stopped hiding from me. Months later, we returned to the same hotel where everything had started. We sat in the lobby. The same place where I had once stood holding flowers, completely unaware that my mother was living a secret life. She looked at me. I'm sorry. I smiled sadly. For what? For making you feel like you weren't important enough to know the truth. I shook my head. You were scared. I was. And I was angry. She reached across the table and held my hand. I thought you'd judge me. I never judged you for loving someone. She looked at me. I was angry because you trusted him while believing you couldn't trust me. Her eyes filled with tears. I know that now. We sat there quietly. For the first time, neither of us had anything to hide. Looking back, I realized that Receptionist didn't just reveal my mother's secret. She may have saved my mother from losing everything. Because sometimes betrayal doesn't look like betrayal. Sometimes it looks like love. Sometimes it comes with promises, flowers, expensive dinners, and dreams about the future. And sometimes the strongest revenge isn't hurting the person who hurt you. It's exposing the truth. Letting their own choices destroy the lie they built. Daniel wanted my mother to lose everything. Instead, he lost the one thing he thought he could control. Her trust. And my mother learned something she would never forget. Love should never require you to ignore every warning sign. That night, I had gone to the hotel hoping to surprise my mother. Instead, I discovered the truth. And strangely enough, the worst surprise of her life became the beginning of her freedom.